On this episode, we make use of a beautiful rainy day to talk about bioretention systems in series. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ideanthro, where, as you can see, it is a beautifully grey day. And I decided to take advantage of this day to get out, look at some stormwater treatment systems while they're working, because that's always the best way to do it. It's not always the best way, but it's a very good way to do it. And while I was out and about, I was mainly doing this because I recently bought a GoPro and it's waterproof, and that means you can do all sorts of funky stuff. But while I was out and about, I happened to come across some little bioretention street tree systems, which I don't think are designed particularly well, but they did the trick for demonstrating what we want to demonstrate today. Came across these bioretention street tree systems that were set up in series. So most bioretention systems you're going to come across, they're going to be just like one catchment, drains to one system, fairly straight and obvious connection. But occasionally you'll get systems where maybe it's like one catchment and there's several smaller systems in it, where you'll start to get systems designed in series or sort of in series. As I was trying to figure out what word I was going to use to describe this, I was wondering if in series is best, because yeah, it's not necessarily directly in series the way if you've done any if you remember any basic electricity, which I haven't done much of, but I can remember little circuit diagrams, and you could put different things in series versus in parallel. But you'll start to come across systems that will be in series or something that kind of resembles it, which is to say you have a catchment and water comes down, and water might then either A, enter one system, filter through it, then all of that water enters the next system and filters through it. Or you might have a situation where the water starts, you have the catchment, it comes down, it enters one system. Once that system fills up, then the rest bypasses, then enters the next system. And that's the setup I came across today. And it was just a really good example to demonstrate why this can be a little bit problematic. Because at the time I was there, it'd been raining like really quite heavily for a fair while. Like, this is a decent rainstorm we're getting today. And there were 3 of these bioretention pods in series, and the first one was chock-a-block full of water. And then there was a little bit of water bypassing to the second system, and the second system had a bit of water in it, and then there was essentially nothing bypassing it to get to the third system. So if you're the plant that's built in this system, the filter media is probably pretty sandy. And if you're the tree in system 1, you're like, yes, I scored, I'm getting all the water, I'm happy. Actually, come to think of it, I should start taking photos of these systems and see whether we actually do pick up one of the trees grow better than the others. But you can imagine, so you're the tree in system 1, and you're like, yes, I'm getting all the water, this is brilliant. And you're the tree in system 3, you're like, what? I've been planted in the desert. Like, this is Brisbane. It's not a desert. Where's the water? So, but they could also flip around, right? There's a few other things that could be a problem here, right? Let's imagine you did, because like these systems, they got built before the houses were constructed. Let's say they did start to get a whole bunch of sediment into them. Suddenly, tree number 1 is like, oh my God, my filter media, it's starting to block up. Oh my goodness, and I'm getting all the, oh my, wow. Bit of wind there. I just started to get really wet. Tree number 1 is like, oh my goodness, the filter media is starting to block up. Oh, it's not draining. Wait, I'm still getting all the water. Oh, I've got to protect the microphone behind me. Hang on, let's get that out of the rain. It's like, oh, all the water, it's not getting away. Oh my goodness, I'm drowning. And then tree number 2 is like, I'm getting a little bit more water because like more's bypassing out. But you can see the problems. There's also problems from a pollutant removal point of view, right? Because phosphorus, let's say, is removed by, well, in a couple of different ways, depending on the type of phosphorus. So if it's particulate, it means it's coming in, it's already attached to a particle, i.e. some sediment, in the stormwater. So that just gets filtered out like all the other sediment does. But if it is dissolved or soluble phosphorus, that means that it is a little, bit of phosphorus floating along on its own in the water, and it comes in, and as it filters through the media, it will physically become stuck to a particle of the filter media. But there's only so many spots within the filter media that phosphorus can get stuck to before at least theoretically, before all of those are exhausted and the system can't remove any more soluble phosphorus anymore. So think about these systems that we've got. We've got these 3 systems in a row, and the first one gets all the stormwater. That means it's also getting all the phosphorus. So that means that it will relatively quickly fill up all its phosphorus adsorption. I think it's adsorption. I always forget. It's either absorption with a B or adsorption with a D. It's quickly going to fill up all of its little sites for the phosphorus to get stuck to. And then it's not going to be able to remove anymore, and the phosphorus just keeps flowing straight down, gets collected in the underdrain and goes out. Now that's a problem, right? Because suddenly that's not getting treated. Because it's not going into the systems downstream, because these are only sort of in series, these systems. It's bypassing the downstream systems and just not getting treated. Whereas if these 3 systems were one system, then that phosphorus would be coming into the system as a whole, getting shared out between the system as a whole, and you're not going to get to this point where the adsorption capacity is exceeded too early. And so look, I'm not completely knocking this. I realise there's reasons on this site why the designers might have gone and done this, even though I'm not a fan of it. My goodness, that is cold. Why did I choose to make this video out here? I've already got soaked once today filming. I don't know why I'm getting soaked again. So I'm not completely knocking the design of these sites. I don't think, like, I'm not a fan of them, but I realise, like, one of the things, I'm pragmatic. I realise for whatever reason, someone's decided to do it this way. There were decisions that were made that were logical, or at least seemed logical at the time, that led to this scenario. I'm not really knocking that, but I just wanted to point out the particular issues with these bioretention systems in series, long-term performance-wise. Sweet, that's it for now. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.